So AI has definitely disrupted the talent acquisition process, whether it is by candidates using AI tools to create resumes, whether companies are scanning resumes in their ATS using AI. AI has in some ways complicated the talent acquisition process, even though it was supposed to make it easier. And so what becomes really important is that interview. What becomes really important is that your references and the skills that you bring to the table and your ability to to actually translate those skills into action. It's not a secret that AI has inflated some of the resumes and misrepresented the capabilities of candidates. And so that's why in this environment, talent acquisition leaders do value that one-on-one connection, that human connection, being able to show that throughout every step of the application process. Different companies are at a different stage when it comes to their digital transformation and AI adoption. When we get to the bigger corporations, there's already some departments that are being dedicated to AI, and they're investing heavily there. For the wide majority of companies that are just getting started with this or thinking about how to implement it safely, what they're really looking for is people who can work with the data. A lot of companies have given their employees access to ChatGPT or Claude, and it's really just a way to make the work more efficient. And so they're looking for folks who are coming and are able to take what the information provided by the AI and turning it into insights, turning it into action, turning it into actual product or code that could be used, right? And so they want people who are familiar with it. They want people who, if you're a software developer, you should be familiar with Claude. You should be familiar with Codex by ChatGPT and how that could make your job easier and faster. Because if you're not, the person next to you is. And so at the end of the day, that becomes a retention issue. Take the skills that you know, but also practice those skills. I think it's important now in a post-COVID era that people actively try to get out there, network, try their elevator pitch, communicate with people in their target industries to really humanize the process. Companies right now are looking very favorably at folks who are upskilling. So additionally, while creating that very human aspect to the application, you should be focusing on picking up more skills. I think employers are now very aware that learning is not just something that happens once. And because of technology quickly changing, they expect folks to be abreast and on top of what is new in their space. And so this is where I would highly recommend that folks in our talent community check out our upskilling courses that are available for free, because employers see those upskilling courses and you completing those as adaptability and resilience. And those are, again, human skills that are only being enhanced by AI. The companies that are thinking about this the most progressively are companies that are being moderate in their introduction of it, but also trying to tie it as like a native way of doing work with every role, right? And so it's not just this person does AI, but I think in upcoming years, we're going to start seeing more job descriptions that do say explicitly must be able to, must have prompt engineering as a skill, because must be able to, when it comes to data analytics, use AI tools to manipulate the data and all of that. And so for talent acquisition folks who are looking at AI and are looking at the current space, I think that the best way to go about this is to maintain an open mind, come up with a AI policy within your organization that gives employees like confidence that they can leverage these tools. A lot of companies have their own closed system of ChatGPT, and so that is helpful in order to identify the best candidates that bring these skills. One, I think working with a firm like YUPRO Placement is key, because we get to know our candidates. We know exactly the skills that they have and where they've been trained, and as well as what kind of projects they've done, which matters a lot when it comes to space hiring. But then just consider the candidate's adaptability. Consider that we are growing up in the digital age. And while that particular candidate may not have extreme exposure or can, create you an app on Claude just yet, our talent and the talent that we represent is a very special type of talent that is never just rests. It always wants to learn. And so I think seeing that and seeing the possibility and understanding that when you see somebody who has multiple different certifications and has taken their time while they're being a dad or working part-time, that tells you a lot about this person's ability to learn something new and integrate it into their work. If I was in TA, I wouldn't cancel out a candidate or I wouldn't say no on a candidate just because they don't have these skills. But in the interview, I'd want to understand this candidate's ability and just previous history with upskilling.